Hey, hello everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm Chris here with Elevate Cafe, so let's take a look. This market, it's just crazy, continues to be very resilient. We've had last night quite a bit of drop in pretty much across the board in the futures, and then today we retested those lows and then we closed towards the highs with the VIX that's 14 below 15 or the 14 handle, so completely crushing volatility. But the price section, it's pretty wild. So make of this what you will, but it's just you have an S&P that it's closing here towards the highs, towards that prior B wave now. You have a NASDAQ that is still fairly weak, I would say. Try to close towards the highs, but then it pulled back. You have a Dow Jones that's making new all-time highs, closing towards the highs, closing a new all-time highs. You have a Russell that's closing a new all-time highs with two candles that close in the upper percent, in the upper range of those candles. You have semiconductors that are selling off in the session only to get bought back up and close towards the highs. It's just definitely a very interesting market. It's a little bit pulled apart, but I had to close a bunch of hedges today. I just had to close them because and who knows, tomorrow I might have to put them back on. I mean, if we're breaking the lows of yesterday, what isn't there to say that we're not continuing to move lower into the next leg? But with two closes towards the highs in here, and with with the other indices closing at new all-time highs, with the semiconductors being pulled back, with the VIX at 14, there's just it doesn't leave me an option to remain to even try to be somewhat balanced here. So I don't know. I guess now I'm a bit more on the long side since I closed the hedges, but I just feel kind of weird because this is the signal that the market is sending. And I look a bunch of these other indicators like advanced decline line. You look at breadth, you look at sentiment, and really nothing gets out of whack. But it's just the market just somewhat feels very weird up here. So we'll see what happens. I mean, look, silver went to 64 and a half almost. It's pretty crazy. Continues to be in a very strong uptrend. I think gold also close towards the high, so it looks like it wants to begin to hunt new all-time highs in gold. On the other hand, Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're still struggling, so they're pulling kind of in the other direction. They're still trying to find their footing in here, the crypto market. Bitcoin, while Dow Jones was making new highs, while the small caps were making new highs, Bitcoin was selling off along kind of with the NASDAQ. The S&P was sort of flat. So I mean, I continue to like the fact that we're making higher lows in here. That's really important. I am not going to repeat from what I said yesterday. I need to see a little bit more in here. But, if the market continues to show sign of strength, this better get up as well. So we can have somewhat of a of a correlation in here, that everything kind of moves together, I would say. So we're coming into the end of the year. I don't know if there's a bunch of fund managers that they're trying. I mean, they're cleaning up positions. They're trying to, chase performance towards the end of the year. I mean, we've had a pretty bad November. I'm kind of at a loss here in kind of for direction, so I'm just gonna stay and watch. Again, if I need to pull back the hedges, I will. But as long as the S&P continues to get rejected from the 20-day moving averages, so listen, if this would have been a B wave high, like, we're spending way too much time up here. We're spending way too much time. And usually B waves or X waves, I would say, right? X waves, they don't give you that much of a chance. You have an ABC, you have a quick sharp X, and then you start to turn and you move. So I don't know what's going on in here, but I'll just wait until the market gives me more signs. I guess I have to see it break again below the 50, before I could, get a bit more kind of on the lower side. Even Nvidia pulled back today, and a bunch of the kind of the AI trades, reversed a little bit. I have about 120 stocks, I think I have into into kind of my master list of stocks, which are kind of, high volatility, and they're from, all over the spectrum, but they're all like really great stocks, and they have, good earnings, good sales, pretty good patterns. They're kind of well known, and I kind of scan them and see which one of those close towards the top of their range. And I think it was like 70% of them close towards the highs today, and getting some of them even getting back above their 50-day moving averages. So there's just a few that are still weak. Like you look at Hood, but there's just a few now. So I don't know. I'm going to continue to kind of watch this. Let's see how we close the weekend, how we are into tomorrow. But I kind of just need more information from this market. But one thing for sure, today's action, what I was expecting was for the market to continue to push lower based on last night. I mean, I can go here to the future platform. I'll show you, right? So I mean, look, even today. Look, this is the S&P, right? So this were the news last night, yesterday with the Fed, and then we dropped lower today, shook this low, right? Shook a bunch of people out. Now you're going back up and take the top of this range, and you shake a bunch of people up there, trying to maybe get them bullish or what have you. Now you're turning back, and it's like, why are we gapping lower in the Asian session? Right there as well. Look at the NASDAQ, even wilder. So this is the 4-hour chart. So you go up yesterday, you come down, very sharp decline. We were down, 1.5% today at some point. Then you go back up, now you're gapping back lower. And look, all the while, you're not really set above this, but you're above the 50-day moving average. So this is this is kind of my beef with the market right now. I have, I'm just trying to listen to its signs and not get chopped or caught up wrong-footed in here. But this type of action here is very weird, and it's, I'm sure there's going to be some kind of a big move coming in here, and I do want to participate. I just don't want to, kind of get scared both sides by the way this market is acting. So we'll see. I'll probably have something better to say after tomorrow's action, maybe on Saturday if I do a video, or on Monday. But up until then, I'll just kind of continue to watch this. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.